the inaugural episode of Stand Up Upstate, a new regional podcast for the upstate of South Carolina. We've got hosts Nick Bazine,
Amberly Mace,
and we've got a topic today, homelessness in the upstate and the recent Greenville city ordinance, which is an attempt to ban camping. It's referred to as an encampment ban, but really what it is an attempt to make homelessness illegal.
We'll get to that later, but we will see Downtown Batman later in the episode.
Oh, I can't wait. You got the nails ready. We're in theme.
I do.
We're here in the Bat Cave.
Yep. So let's get started. So I'm just going to give you some facts about homelessness. According to Greenville Homeless Alliance, 4,000 people were homeless in 2023, and that's 6% of our population. So that shows our poverty rate as 17%. National poverty rate is only 11.3%.
So we're dealing with high poverty rate.
We are.
Relative to the national average.
Yeah.
But we're not dealing with a super large number of people that need care from this community.
No, not at all. Just to give you some context, the median rent here for a 1 or 2 bedroom is $1,200 to $1,400. You have to make about $38,000 to $48,000 to qualify for one of those apartments.
And what does that translate to? It's like $19 or $20 an hour.
Yeah.
You have to make, whereas our minimum wage is $7.25.
Yeah.
So
$7.25.
you have to have 3 jobs to afford a 1-bedroom apartment.
Essentially. So that's hurting people who are just starting out. People who may have lost a job and are trying to get a job maybe in a different career, so they don't have that experience. They're kind of starting at the bottom. People who've lost a spouse, or maybe they're starting over. Maybe they've moved here. They don't have that community to get input on where to look for jobs.
Yeah, it's so important to have a support system.
It is. It is. The median per capita is only $3,800 for a single person and $69 for a household. So that single person making that median is barely able.
So 38,000.
38. They're only
annual.
able to afford, and that's barely because
That's
they're right at that
just
threshold.
making rent.
Yeah.
Is that math right? 12 times 1,200 is 24,000.
Well, you also have to remember that your rent is about 1/3 of what you're making.
Which it would be 2/3 of what you're making under that scenario.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we've got, you can't just pay your rent. You have to be able to pay for transportation. So whether that's car, city.
Of course, utilities,
Food. Yeah. Clothing.
If rent is taking that much of your money, you don't have stuff left for the rest of the essentials.
No, so you're not saving. So then you're one paycheck away from being right out. So you lose that job. How fast is it to get a new one? And it's not always so quick. And in this economy, it's a lot slower. But you can't afford to wait that long.
Right. I hear this referenced all the time, and I faced it in my own life. Like, I'm relatively secure. My career is decent, but there were long stretches of my life where I had 1 or 2 paychecks in the bank.
Yeah.
Which means if there was an unplanned event, I was pretty close to not being able to pay my rent or mortgage.
Yeah. Your car breaks down and it's an unexpected cost. Medical bills. People don't think of that, but you get sick and end up in the ER. You've lost work, so you've lost pay, and then you're billed astronomically out of that. So
first off, there's very little separation between us and the unhoused population.
Yeah, no, there really isn't
They are
much.
us minus 2 paychecks.
Yeah.
I know specific statistics that 40+%, I think 44% of all bankruptcies in the country come from medical bills.
Ooh.
Yeah, which really points to healthcare as a concern.
Yeah.
Later on, I have some comments to make and maybe some statistics to share about mental health care, which is a subset.
It is.
And it's like, it should be really part of healthcare.
Yes.
But it's separated out under the system in the United States as like an add-on to what healthcare is, when it really should be holistic and included.
Yep.
But we'll get there.
We also have the second highest eviction rate. So people are very...
In the country?
In the country.
Oh
Our city has the second highest eviction rate.
Oh my goodness.
So it's very clear that these landlords are not working with us very well.
Yeah.
When we are getting behind. They're very quick. And, they can. And they do.
Huh.
And if you're speaking of an investment company as opposed to maybe a local person's more likely to help you out, to let you go a little longer. But a corporation or an investment company, they don't care. You're a number to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
what are some of the drivers for eviction?
High living costs. So we talked about our minimum wage in South Carolina being $7.25. We do not see a whole ton of jobs starting there. You're usually finding that more for what teenagers, and even some of those are actually higher than that, which is good. But the problem is our rate is increasing far more than our wages increasing. Plus, food and beverages have gone up 20% in the last couple of years. Gas, utilities, the price of a car, all of it's going up. Price of insurance and health insurance also has increased. So all the excess bills are now higher, and your wage isn't compensating that.
We all know about inflation.
Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, our housing costs are going quite a bit above that.
Yeah, so we see wages stagnant, housing costs increase, cost of everyday goods going up.
Yeah.
What are some other barriers to the homeless community? Let's say that we ended up as one of these people.
Okay.
Which we've established not dissimilar from us
No.
by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all.
What sort of barriers do they face in overcoming that situation?
Oh, that's a lot. Well, first of all, when you become homeless, everything you have is what you can carry, or if you're able to keep your car because maybe it's paid off, if it's in your car. So everything else, you don't have it anymore. You don't have a place to store your belongings. Some of those are necessary. Clean clothes, documentation to get a job. There are homeless that do actually have a job. It's just not enough to meet their rent and bills like that. So they have, a different set of circumstances that they're dealing with. But when you have a job, you need clean clothes. Where are you showering? Your meals are very basic because you don't have a place to cook. So you're dealing with lack of nutrition as well. And then how comfortable is it to sleep in your car?
So this isn't a slippery slope, it's a cliff.
Yeah.
It's once you end up in this situation, it is extremely hard to recover from it.
It is, yeah.
You don't have an address, so you can't get credentials, you can't fill out job applications.
No.
You couldn't even collect unemployment.
No, you can't.
When you have a problem storing belongings, there's only so much you're allowed to carry, which makes it difficult to do something like start a business or something like that.
Yeah, it does.
You're not getting enough sleep.
Which affects your
You're
mental
not
health.
getting the right
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
And you're operating in circumstances where you're feeling under threat and you're feeling neglected and ignored by your community.
Yeah.
So once you end up in this position, it's not like, okay, you gotta just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get back up the hill. You're at the bottom of a pit and we need to figure out what the ladder is to get them out.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you become homeless, you don't anticipate that. So you do not know what resources are out there. You don't know where to reach out. And finding that, especially if you don't have a community, it's tough. I mean, think if you went homeless today, where are you sleeping? Do you have family or friends that could take you in? Because the reality is, it's not sometimes will they, it's do they even have the space to take you in?
Or the funds to do
Or the funds to do
like
so.
we established, a lot of people are close to the line.
Yep. So, and with not having an address, even if you want to get a job, you need an address to fill out your application. If I get a job, I have to have an address for my I-9 form. So that's for my taxes, proof of identity. If I lose my identification, my ID, because I'm carrying around all my belongings, what do you have to get your ID? You have to have an address, but you also have to have proof of address.
Right, bills.
Yep. So if you don't have an address, how are you going to prove? You can't prove anything.
Right.
There is nothing.
Right.
So it brings up another barrier that you can face with storing and carrying all your belongings on you or in your car. It's very easy. And that's if you grab them. That's if you thought about that in the stress of becoming homeless and thinking about what you need, because most people don't think about it.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it would be like to go through an eviction without another place to stay.
Yeah, because you're going to be spending all that time knowing you're being evicted, trying to find a place until you can't anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about this encampment ban.
Okay.
What is it at its nature?
So it is going to prohibit they call it the improper use of city property and facilities for camping. And they define camping very broadly. It's sleeping or lying for more than 2 hours in any place that is city owned. You also cannot store your belongings on any city-owned property. So
this isn't about camping at all.
This is not about camping.
Targeting homelessness.
Yes. And if a police officer finds your belongings, they can toss them. So then you really do lose everything you have. I can't imagine how that would have to feel to come back and find everything you own gone. You are literally left with nothing. But they do also have the ability to turn it into a homeless service provider.
All right, should we go chat with Batman for a little bit?
Yeah, let's
bring
do
him
that.
on. Yeah.
Hi, we're here with Downtown Batman.
Hi there.
Batman. I want you to tell our audience who you are and what got you into doing what you do.
I'm the Downtown Batman. I've been helping the homeless and protecting human rights since 2021. I do that by giving food, water, clothing, and other supplies to the homeless out on weekly patrols in downtown Greenville. I start around One City Plaza and make my way past Floor Field down towards the Place of Hope.
Okay.
And before circling back around, and I help out any unsheltered people I come across along the way. I help around somewhere between 10 and 20 people a patrol. May have seen me more recently attending some of the protests organized by the Greenville Progressive Coalition and partnering with the Greenville Spider-Man in some of my more recent patrols.
This is incredible. This is like a real life superhero. I mean,
That's the idea.
We grow up admiring these type of figures, but what can we really do to help people? It's not always stopping bad, but it's helping people who are in need of help.
Exactly. So I am a real life superhero, which there are hundreds around the world in all sorts of communities. And what that means is it's a real life superhero is a person who dresses up in a costume of some sort in order to do activism. That could be anything from helping people cross the street, picking up litter, helping the homeless like I do. Real life superhero work has a wide variety of things, but what it is not is vigilantism. We are not crime fighters, we are not vigilantes, we don't go out looking for fights or beat people up. That's dangerous and idiotic work, and it's not what we are about.
So what made you reach out to the homeless community?
I traveled around Greenville for a few weeks back in 2021 and noticed just how many we had on the streets. And I started helping them out of a costume, just helping them with a backpack and some water bottles that I had that I could give. And I learned that the systems that are in place weren't helping them as much as they could be. And so I wanted to try to fill that gap. So I don't help the people that are in shelters getting help from your Miracle Hill or United Ministries. I'm helping the unsheltered, the people that are sleeping out on the streets. That's who I deal with primarily.
How would you recommend that other people lend aid to unhoused or homeless folks?
I would say look into Project Host, the soup kitchen in downtown, volunteer there, volunteer with Miracle Hill, volunteer with United Ministries. Volunteer is what I would recommend.
Okay.
You don't need superpowers to be a hero, and you don't need a costume to do activism work.
We talked about an ordinance that's currently tabled before City Council, but is going to be going back up. Are the homeless aware of what's going on?
I would say not many of them are.
Okay.
Not many are aware of the ordinance because you ask your average person on the street, they're probably not aware of it either.
Right.
Your average person walking down the street, your coworkers, they aren't aware of this ordinance. This kind of stuff isn't something, local politics are something that are usually overlooked by most Americans, I'd say.
Yeah.
And so The homeless people don't have a way of getting educated about this stuff short of, you know, unless they have a smartphone or access to the internet, really. How else are they going to hear about it? A few of the folks that I come across and try to hear what their thoughts were on it, and obviously they aren't happy about it because they have nowhere else to go.
Right.
This ordinance would ban public camping, quote unquote, but at the end of the day, that's just criminalizing homelessness. These people that have nowhere to go will then be faced with charges and tickets and fines that they have no conceivable way of paying, and just causing more suffering for people who are already suffering. Nothing good could come of it.
It's barely a Band-Aid. We're really just pushing people down the street to another place where it hasn't yet been made illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Could you help us understand what it's like for some of these people? Do you have any stories that could help us be connected to them?
It's important to remember that they are human beings like you and me. Underneath this mask, I am no different than you, your neighbor, your father, your mother, your dentist. There's nothing separating us. And just like that, there's nothing separating you and me from the people sleeping out on the streets. A majority of us are only a missed paycheck away from sleeping out on the sidewalk. This one woman slept outside of City Hall for a while, and I would come across her on my patrols weekly. Over 80 years old, sleeping outside City Hall in the winter. When I talked to her, she had barely any teeth in her mouth, and she would tell me of the various systems that she had been rejected from, housing systems, nursing homes. None of them would take her. I don't know why they wouldn't take her. Honestly, I don't see the purpose in finding out why. I don't see a point in finding out why they wouldn't take her. The point is we need to find her someplace.
Yeah.
I had a comment on my social media. I had mentioned this woman in a speech I gave to City Council back in June. I had told her story as an anecdote. Somebody left a comment on a TikTok posting I made of that video, and had asked what her history was that led her there. That doesn't matter. What matters is her future, getting her somewhere safe to stay.
Yeah.
Gosh, what beautiful sentiment to think that masked or unmasked, housed or unhoused, we're all the same. We're all human when it comes down to it at its core.
Our elderly, this is not something they should be facing later in life. They should be taken care of. And what a shame. What a shame. What are some other stories you can share with us?
Well, recently came across an elderly man who he had only been on the streets for a few weeks at this point, 2 or 3, I think. And he had told me that the reason he was out on the street was he was having issues with his, was it unemployment, or I want to say it was he was trying to get some checks sent to him that would help him. He was trying to get some checks, and the government agency was trying to send him the check, not via direct deposit, but as a physical check in the mail to an address he no longer resided at because he was sleeping on the streets.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times he tried to talk with them about it, they wouldn't help him out. And so I forwarded some of his contact information to some people I know, and hopefully they were able to help him out with resolving that issue. But
Thank you.
Yeah, in this day and age, how hard would it have been for them to direct deposit that?
not hard at all. The government wants us to Venmo them to decrease the national debt, and you can't direct deposit this man's checks.
Yeah.
How can people support you in your work if they want to, have some outreach, but prefer you as the avenue for that?
Sure. Well, I take cash donations, 100% of which go in towards helping the homeless by purchasing food, water, and supplies for them. I don't give out cash to the homeless, but I've got a link tree that has all of my social media, all of my donation links. I've got Cash App, Venmo. I have a Throne account, which allows people to purchase supplies that are then shipped directly to my door without revealing any
exchange.
personal information. And so if you don't like giving your money to a guy wearing a mask, you can just purchase the supplies directly and have it shipped to me if you want to cut out the middle.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. We'll put the link tree in the description.
Yeah. I did have a question for you. What are some of the barriers that our homeless face that keeps them on the street as opposed to getting them into a shelter or just even help getting them into some kind of housing or job or whatever it is that they might need?
Right. Transportation's a big thing. Today's America, you can't really get around anywhere without a car.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have the greatest in public transportation.
Okay.
Another issue I see a lot is these people, they have their entire lives in backpacks, shopping carts.
Yeah.
They cannot leave that unattended to go to a job interview
Right.
because they're going to come back to it being gone. They can't bring it with them. That's too much to transport.
Yeah.
These people need a place where they can safely store their things for an extended period of time
Yeah.
and come back to retrieve them at a later time
Okay.
while they go out, do errands, apply for jobs, do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
I've seen Greenville Together is doing a lot of great work at
Okay.
helping the homeless here in Greenville. They've housed 22 people in the past year. And they're working their goal is to bring homelessness in Greenville to a functional 0%.
Just to piggyback on that question, is finding shelter a problem?
The shelters that we have in place, United Ministries shelters, Place of Hope,
Yeah.
they are doing great work. Miracle Hill even has accommodations for LGBT people.
Okay.
They have special accommodations for transgender homeless people
Okay.
in case they need that. But the issue is space. The issue
Okay.
is having enough beds and having the transportation to get to those shelters.
Okay.
As great work as they're doing, they can only let in so many people. They can only
Right.
they can only have so many beds.
Yeah.
And so whoever is late to show up ends up on the street for the rest of the week.
Okay. So there aren't enough beds for the amount of people that are on the streets then?
I would say yes,
Okay.
from what I
From what you
have
see.
heard.
Yeah, and here, yeah.
Beds specifically allocated.
Yeah,
So-
we covered mental health earlier in the episode and how it affects the homeless community. Do you have any insight into mental health and how it's affecting the community here in Greenville?
Well, I don't know that I'd be the best to speak on the subject as I am wearing a bat costume, but I'm by no means an expert, but I can give you my opinions.
Yeah,
And,
sure.
How would you feel if you lost everything you had and were living on the street and waiting for your community to help you?
Yeah.
But instead they walked past and ignored you every day. I think I'd develop some mental issues as well.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that these are human beings and they should be treated as such. The longer that you've been on the street,
Mm-hmm.
the worse your mental state's probably gonna be.
You've been such an amazing guest.
Yeah.
Before we depart, is there anything else you'd like our audience to know about or be aware of as far as that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, I've been getting a lot of people asking about people that want to be a superhero like I am. And I think that's an admirable thing, but it takes a lot more than putting on a costume and walking around downtown to be a superhero. It takes a lot of passion. It takes a lot of effort and money to fund this level of activism. And you're putting a giant spotlight on yourself.
Got it.
I do what I do because I think it's the right thing to do.
For
I
you.
hide my identity because I don't want the fame or the glory or the prestige that comes with the good deeds I do. I do what I do because I think that everybody should do what I do. I think that it's what any citizen in a community should do, to pull up the less fortunate, to give them a helping hand.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I wrote a short guide on how to be a real life superhero that's available on my link tree
That's so cool.
for the people that genuinely want to do this kind of activism work. But, you know, I've been doing this for 4 years, and the last thing I want is somebody throwing on a spirit Halloween costume and going out to fight crime. So I figured, let's try and steer these people in the right direction.
Let's cover that. Let's talk about calls to action. I mean, what can we really do as a community to lend help to the unhoused community? We talked about Project Host, United Way, Greenville Together, United Ministries, and Miracle Hill. There's another outlier, a grassroots organization called Food Not Bombs that I personally recommend. They're great. They distribute food out to the homeless community. They accept food as donations. You can find them just through Google search, but we'll provide links as well. And we will also throw Batman's link tree in the comments or in the description so that you can fund his efforts directly as well. 100% of donations go to supplies that get distributed directly to the homeless. And
You're not funding batarangs or
and he does not have that Bruce Wayne money, so we really need all the support we can get.
Yeah, so we covered the ordinance that was tabled, and we do not right now have a date for when that's coming back up. Changes will be made, and as soon as we have a date where they're gonna hear that again and vote on it again, we'll let you know. We'll include it in a future episode.
Beautiful. Keep your eyes and ears out for the next encampment ban hearing. I can't imagine. I've never heard of camping for less than 2 hours. It's not camping anymore. You know, like, where have you ever driven up the mountain and then
You're like,
grilled one hot dog and then you come back down the mountain?
yeah,
You know, like,
yeah, no, but
which to
what
me
if it-
points at like this is a clearly a veiled target at
Yes.
homelessness, and it's frankly it's disappointing to see something like this come out of our city council.
Yeah.
If they have an issue with homelessness, then let's solve homelessness.
Yeah.
Let's not put it under the guise of we don't want people camping in our city.
right.
Come on.
Right. It's what's even crazier is that for the first time you do this offense, they let you go, but the second time and the third time you now face fines and you face jail time. So then you have a record, and how much harder is it to get a job, even if it's a misdemeanor? And then they say you can get it expunged, but have you ever tried to get something expunged? It takes time and it takes money.
And probably an address.
And probably an address, yeah.
So who's behind this proposal? I referenced city council, but I don't know that much about it.
So it is proposed by Councilman John DeWorkin. So it is similar to something that was passed in Grants Pass, Oregon. So they did a similar ban.
I heard about that.
So it has been tabled, but he did say that while he will make some changes, he does plan to put it up before city council again. And the reason it got tabled is because so many people showed up and spoke out against it.
So we have to be prepared to show up
Yeah.
again as soon as we have more information about the next hearing for the encampment ban.
Yeah, so our voices matter.
It really does matter because I heard how this went for Oregon. They had a temporary injunction from the Supreme Court late, I think 2024, and then it was eventually it's only a temporary halt, and they've declared that it is legal for the city to ban housing, but they had some sort of minor reconciliation where they said you have to create 150 campsites for people to use. Meanwhile, we're talking about thousands of people that need a place to stay.
Yeah.
So we will not be protected by the government on this. We need to produce the solutions ourselves and be speaking directly to our city council representatives.
Yeah, we do. And there are cities who have taken care of this problem proactively without hurting the homeless population. So there are things out there that the city council can look to. There's research out there, there's evidence out there that will point them in a direction in which we could take this to actually solve the problem and not hinder our homeless population.
Let's talk about it.
So Atlanta provides a really good example, and theirs is called the Atlanta Continuum of Care.
Ooh, I like that.
I know, it's nice, huh? So they have housed up to date 1,850 people, which is 2 encampments, are completely gone. Not because they moved them, not because they pushed them somewhere else, but because they actually got them off the streets, got them into housing. And they planned, but they worked with the city council, they worked with planners and developers, they worked with healthcare professionals, they worked with other people, and they created this initiative. So they put the effort and work in because they truly wanted to solve it. They didn't just want to push it aside for a further date. So, I mean, there's one example that we could follow, and or at least take little pieces that would work for what we've already got in place to just make what we've got better.
Absolutely. And these are the real solutions that we want. We
Yeah.
don't want to push these people into another neighborhood, into another city, because
No.
the problem still exists.
Yeah.
And they're people. This isn't a dilapidated building that we just want to clean up. These are human beings that need to be rehabilitated and reintegrated into our community.
Yeah. So we also see Chattanooga did that too, and they actually used a housing first approach.
Okay.
So that was just, they partnered with educators and healthcare providers, and they coordinated those efforts, and they invested in expansions of eviction prevention. So you're right there preventing people from even ending up on the
fantastic.
street.
So you intervene at the tipping point before you fall off that cliff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then planners created the first low barrier shelter, and then they ensured that people had the resources they needed to get out of that.
Okay.
So
These sound like excellent things we could be
Yeah.
bringing up with our district city council members.
Yeah.
Whichever district you're in, you want to approach or contact your respective city council member and communicate. There are strategies for solving this problem. We don't have to ignore it. We don't have to band-aid it. We don't have to push it down the road.
Yeah.
We can actually end this. We're only talking about 4,000 people.
yeah, this should be nothing.
It's 6% of the population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are other solutions I'm sure out there. You know, so really,
Let's say this ban goes into
Yeah.
effect. What would be the effects of the ban?
like I outlined earlier, it's fines, it's jail time for your second and third offense. It's robbing people of their belongings. I mean, they're gone.
Which is their whole life.
It is their whole life. So then what does that cause? That just causes further barriers, and it keeps them homeless longer. That's not going to get them off the streets.
Right.
Telling somebody you can't lie here for more than 2 hours isn't solving any issue other than making them move. So what are we really doing with this?
We're criminalizing homelessness.
We are criminalizing homelessness. And that is not the way we should be treating human
Yeah,
beings.
it's not just ineffective, but it's harmful for exactly the reasons you stated.
Yeah.
It adds to the barriers.
Yeah.
It doesn't remove barriers.
No, when we could be actually doing things that are going to remove barriers or lift them up in other ways.
Wow.
I mean, to me, this feels like they're pushing them aside and saying, we don't want you visible because this is city property. We want you to go into hiding. The issue's still there.
Absolutely. Because of our direct actions, the citizens of Greenville
Yep.
and neighboring cities, we managed to get this tabled once.
Yes.
Where does it sit now?
So right now, we do not have a date for when it's going to come up again. They said they would make changes. DeWorkin did, but he is very adamant. And in fact, I just saw him on the news recently covering this again and talking about it again. So
Okay.
he very much wants to do this when I feel there are far better solutions that can be presented. So it will take us going again, standing up, speaking out, and advocating for our homeless population because they deserve better.
Let's do it. What a great inaugural episode. We're so happy to be here. We'd like to send an extra thank you to Downtown Batman.
Yes.
What a legend.
Yeah, he's
gosh.
really awesome.
Yeah.
He's making such a huge difference in our community.
We would love to hear your feedback in the comments.
Yeah.
Please jump into the comment section. Be respectful. We're looking for engagement, solutions, and productive conversation. Ask any questions that you have about the homeless population, things you can do to help, and do not forget to hop into Batman's Linktree and sponsor him on some of his actions. He's truly a hero.
He really is. And, you know, if you have anything to add, ways we can help the homeless population, please let us know, because we would like to create a community that has the resources so we know where to go.
We
and
have
then
the ability to solve our problems.
We do have the
It just
ability.
takes us coming together.
So follow We the People,
And
and we'll
stand
see
up.
ya.